Hey, welcome. So if you're in support, you know that feeling, that pain of getting a really vague bug report. Well, today, we're going to give you a superpower. And no, this isn't about learning to code from scratch. It's about learning to investigate. We're going to pull back the curtain on HTML and CSS so you can figure out exactly what's wrong with a web page and write bug reports that engineers will absolutely love you for. Okay, let's get into it.
Oh, we have all been there, right? That ticket that just says, the button is gone, or the text looks weird, or my favorite, something is broken. These tickets are just black holes. There's no information. So you're left guessing, you're asking for screenshots, you're doing all this back and forth, and the whole time, the customer is just waiting. It's frustrating for everybody. But what if you could see exactly what the browser sees?
This is the transformation we're talking about. I mean, just look at the difference here. The before is, well, it's a problem. But the after? That is a solution just waiting to happen. It's precise, it's actionable, and it saves hours of back and forth. This is the exact level of detail you'll be able to provide by the end of this explainer.
To get that kind of detail, we have to look inside what feels like a black box, right? The web page. It might seem like some kind of tech magic, but it's really not. Every single browser you use, Chrome, Firefox, you name it, has this powerful set of detective tools built right in, and we're about to open up that toolkit.
And that's it. No, seriously, it's just 2 clicks. You right-click on anything on a web page, and you click Inspect. That's all. This one action opens up a whole panel that's basically an X-ray machine for the web page, showing you its structure and its style. No special software to install, nothing. It's already there, just waiting for you.
All right, so the very first thing we're going to see in this detective view is something called HTML. And honestly, the best way to think about it is as the skeleton of the page. It's the blueprint. It gives everything its basic structure. Now, remember, our goal here is to read the blueprint, not to draw a new one.
So HTML uses these little things called tags, which are basically just labels. They tell the browser what each piece of content is. You know, this label says this is a main heading. This one over here says this is a paragraph. And that one says this is a link. It's not some scary programming language with loops and logic. It's just a way to organize all the stuff on the page.
And you're going to see these bones everywhere. A div is just a generic box for grouping stuff together. An H1 is your most important heading. A P tag is, you guessed it, a paragraph. An A tag is a link. The A actually stands for anchor. And button and input are pretty much exactly what they sound like. Just by recognizing these few tags, you can already understand the basic layout of pretty much any page on the internet.
So when you click Inspect, you land right here, in the Elements tab. Now this isn't just some static code someone wrote. This is the live skeleton of the page, exactly as the browser is seeing it at this very moment. It's your ground truth. This is where your investigation begins. Okay, so if HTML is the skeleton, then what gives the page its looks? You know, the colors, the fonts, the layout? Well, that's the job of CSS. Think of it like the paint, the clothes, and the furniture that you put on that HTML skeleton to actually bring it to life.
How CSS works is by applying rules to all those HTML elements. For example, a rule might say something like, hey, find all the H1 headings on this page and make them blue and, 32 pixels tall. So in the DevTools, right next to that HTML skeleton, you'll see a styles pane. And this shows you every single CSS rule that's being applied to whatever element you have selected.
Now, this is super important. This right here is the secret to almost all layout and spacing bugs you'll ever see. Every single element on a page is basically a rectangle, a box. Right in the middle is the content, the text or the image. Around that is some inner space, that's called padding. Then you have a border, and finally, on the very outside, you have the margin. That's the space that pushes it away from other things. So when things look too close or too far apart, I guarantee you it's almost always an issue with the padding or the margin on one of these boxes.
Another really crucial CSS idea is this thing called the display property. Pretty much everything is either block or inline. So block elements, like paragraphs, they're kind of greedy. They demand to start on a new line and they take up the full width they can. Inline elements, on the other hand, like a link inside a sentence, they're polite. They just sit there, right in the flow of the text. Just knowing this difference helps you figure out why some things stack up and other things sit side by side.
Okay, theory time is over. Let's put on our detective hats and actually solve a couple of classic UI bugs using everything we've just learned. This is where it all clicks.
Here it is, your simple, repeatable playbook. Step 1. Find the problem element by right-clicking and inspecting it. Step 2. Just glance at the HTML to make sure you've actually got the right thing selected. Is it a button, a div? Step 3. Scan those CSS rules in the Styles pane. And Step 4. This is the fun part. Test your theory. You can literally uncheck the little boxes next to any CSS rule to turn it off instantly. Or you can even change the values and see what happens live. It's amazing.
So let's go back to our missing button. We're going to follow the process. We right-click where the button should be and hit Inspect. We see the button tag in the HTML, so haha, we know it exists. Now we look over at the styles, and as we're scrolling through, we see a rule, Display None. Well, that sounds pretty suspicious, doesn't it? So we click the little checkbox next to it to turn that rule off, and poof, the button just reappears. We found the smoking gun. Okay, let's try another one. A customer says the text in a form field is all squished up against the edge. We inspect the input element, we can check the layout or computed tab, and we see that box model. Yep, it shows padding is 0. So we go back to the styles pane, we find that padding property, we click on 0px, type in 10px and hit enter. And instantly on the screen we see the text get the breathing room it needs. We've just proven exactly how to fix the bug.
So here's the most important part of all of this. You didn't write a single line of code. You didn't open a code editor or need some complex developer setup. You use the tools that are already in your browser to investigate, to diagnose, and to confirm the cause of a UI bug with, like, surgical precision.
This skill, it fundamentally changes your role. You go from being someone who just passes along vague problems to being an empowered investigator who can find the actual root cause. You are officially a UI detective, and you're providing actionable intelligence to your engineering team.
So let's just boil it down to the essentials. HTML is the skeleton, the structure. CSS is the style, the close, and paint. Your browser's DevTools are your magnifying glass to see both of them live, and the most important thing to remember is that your job isn't to be a developer, is to be an investigator who can read the clues and test your theories.
You now have the tools, and you have the process. So the next time a ticket comes in about some visual glitch, you're going to know exactly what to do. So go on, open up that ticket queue, find a UI bug, and start investigating. Happy sleuthing!